My name is James Red Howarth, former U.S. Army Ranger, 3rd Battalion, 75th Regiment. I've survived 3 tours in the Middle East. I've jumped out of helicopters under fire, and I've pulled brothers out of burning wrecks. But none of that prepared me for what happened on February 12, 2003. It started as a night like any other on base, cold, routine, and quiet. I was in the barracks, trying to unwind with a few guys, flipping through an old stack of magazines and drinking something cheap and warm. Private Wallace was playing an ancient PlayStation hooked up to a grainy CRT in the corner. Some survival horror game, Black Sector, Obsidian Protocol, a forgotten title buried beneath the likes of Resident Evil and Silent Hill. It had weird graphics, chunky polygons, low-res faces that barely moved, and a soundtrack that was just ... wrong, like someone humming a lullaby over a broken radio. "Come on, man, your turn," Wallace said, handing me the controller. "We need someone who doesn't suck." I laughed. "You calling me out, rookie?" He shrugged. "Your army. Let's see how good you are under pressure." I grabbed the controller. The room flickered for a moment. I chalked it up to bad wiring, but then everything went black. I woke up in a void, a menu screen, hovering text that read, "Loading, new save file." Soldier Red, difficulty, unreal. Then I hit the ground hard. I was lying on a cold, metallic floor. The world around me was jagged and unnatural, low race walls, pixelated lights flickering above, and shadows that twitched like they didn't know how to be shadows. I looked down. I wasn't in my uniform anymore. I was wearing a tight, blocky combat suit, gray with neon blue lines tracing down the arms. I moved, and my limbs clicked into weird angular positions. Every joint felt like it had 2 settings, bent and not bent. "Mission start," a robotic voice echoed from nowhere. Suddenly, a heads-up display blinked in front of my vision. Red health bar, ammo count 30/90ths, and a square mini-map in the top right corner. My rifle wasn't real. It was a low-polygon model with no weight, and yet it felt like it could fire. I was in the game. The first hour was chaos. Mutated dogs made of 3 triangles each leapt at me from broken hallways. I opened doors by walking into them and watching them dissolve into black loading screens. My footsteps echoed endlessly, clunk, 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 and every corridor looked the same. I met someone, a scientist NPC, her face a flat texture, eyes painted on like dull glass. Her voice glitched as she spoke. "SS Soldier Unit, you must disable the core before it resets the loop." I asked, but she disappeared mid-sentence. Just blinked out of existence, replaced by a health pack floating in the air. The game wasn't right. It wasn't following a script. It felt aware. And something else was hunting me. I first saw it in Sector 4A. I just fought my way through a horde of zombie-like creatures made of misshapen polygons, when the room froze. Not a visual glitch, time itself locked. Then came the growl. Out of the darkness stepped something huge. A boss fight, clearly, but not from the game I remembered Wallace playing. This thing was wrong. It wore a soldier's uniform, mine, but its head was glitched, polygons stretched into the ceiling, and its weapon was fused into its arm. "You don't belong here," it growled, voice stuttering like a scratched CD. "You're breaking the code." I fired at it. Bullets did nothing. The thing rushed me, its arm weapon charging with static, and game over. I woke up at the last checkpoint. Same corridor, same blood stain, same flickering light. It had reset me. Days passed, maybe weeks. Time doesn't work the same in here. The in-game clock never moved past 3:33. I learned the rules. Learned how the enemy AI worked, how to use the weird physics bugs to my advantage, clip through doors, stack inventory items, kite enemies behind textures they couldn't pass through. But the game learned too. It began rewriting itself. New enemies, new traps, old levels scrambled and warped. Dialogue became sinister, NPCs whispering in binary, health packs exploding when I touched them. The save file menu changed. Soldier Red, playtime, lives, 1. Escape. Nitrogen monoxide. I was trapped in a cursed program, a prison of outdated graphics and corrupted memory blocks. But I wasn't going down easy. I reached the core deep underground. It looked like a giant PS1 memory card, floating above a pit of digital static. And it was guarded by him, the glitched soldier, my double. He called himself Save Data Prime. You were meant to be background noise, he said, a model, a function. You brought choice into a closed system. I didn't respond. I just raised my rifle and charged. The boss fight was insane. He teleported between code strings, summoned corrupted versions of me from past checkpoints, and rewrote the level layout mid-battle. I used every trick I had, dodging through animation bugs, stacking grenades in an item duplication glitch, even crashing part of the arena by forcing a texture overflow. In the final moment, I hit him with a corrupted disk, a literal object in the inventory labeled Black Sector DISCV 0.9. It shattered his form into pixels. Fatal error. Memory leak. Save. Incomplete. Goodbye, Red. I woke up in the barracks. Wallace staring at me, pale as a ghost. Dude, he said, you've been out for 3 days. We couldn't wake you. The game glitched and then you just froze. I looked down. My uniform was back, my hands normal, flesh and blood. But my eyes were drawn to the CRT in the corner. Still on. The game menu was there. A new option appeared. Continue. Soldier Red. Status. Escaped. Difficulty. Nightmare, and beneath it, a second line. New player detected. Wallace. I grabbed the power cord and yanked it from the wall. But sometimes, late at night, I swear I still hear that menu music. And in my dreams, I see that memory card floating, waiting. Because I didn't beat the game, I just passed the controller.